Hey guys, it's David from Trail Adventures USA, and on today's episode, we take on Burns Canyon Trail all the way through Rattlesnake Canyon Trail. We're going to end up out in Pioneer Town. Now, this is a very popular trail, as you guys will see. We brought along a few of our friends, so stay tuned. It's going to be a great time.
We met in Eastville just as the sun was coming up. We gassed up the Rubicon and made sure it was ready for the trail. We followed Cody up to Big Bear, where we would be meeting up with the remainder of the group. We took the 15 freeway and headed straight for the mountains. We arrived in Big Bear a little bit behind schedule. There was an accident on the 15 freeway, which delayed our arrival. When we got to Big Bear though, everyone was lined up and ready to go. It was great to reconnect with some old friends, see some familiar faces, and talk stories. Joe Kay did a tremendous job at organizing this event, and after a quick driver's meeting, we were ready to hit the trails. After a quick but scenic drive through the Big Bear area, we arrived at the trailhead. 2N02. The sign says, Eye of God. This is where you want to air down your vehicles and prepare for the trail. Big Bear scenery never disappoints. With its scenic valleys and tall pines, this area is captivating. On this adventure, we started at the top of the trail and worked our way down to the desert floor. The terrain and vegetation changes drastically, from tall pines to Joshua trees. There are some steep hills and rocky transitions, but nothing a stock 4x4 couldn't negotiate. 33-inch tires are recommended for this trail. This is a great trail for beginners or even the intermediate off-roader. While there may not be that many extreme challenges, it does require your attention as you drive some of the shelf roads, but there are definitely enough things to keep your interest along the trail. During snowmelt and after rains, sections of the trail can become muddy. Come prepared with the proper recovery gear during these conditions, or you might find yourself stranded. Now, depending on the conditions, most of this trail can be done with a two-wheel drive vehicle. However, 4x4 and low range may be needed as the trail gets tougher. That grin on her face says it all. Crystal really enjoys driving these trails, and I enjoy being a passenger from time to time. This is a heavily traveled route, so traveling at reduced speeds and understanding trail etiquette is important. Giving right of way to those traveling on the trail makes for a better day. Halfway through the trail, we found some hills, thought it would be time to have a little fun. When you have a built Jeep sitting on 40s, hills like this are child's play. But it doesn't make it any less fun. Cody had the only truck on the trip this go around, but he was eager to put the Ranger through its paces. With a little frame drag and a little wheel lift, Cody descended the hills with no problem, as you will see. I know Cody was happy and even more confident that he had the white knuckle sliders to protect those perfect body panels. Joe K also wanted to test out the flexibility of his Jeep, so he put his Wrangler into four-wheel low, started the descent. Wait for the wheel lift. These hills never look as steep through the camera lens. Tim was next up on the downhill challenge in his Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. Now Tim is outfitted for overlanding with his rooftop tent and awning. None of that, however, was going to stop Tim from making it to the bottom of this hill. Wait for the wheel lift. Now, after playing on the hill, Joe got on the radio to tell us about the landmark called Eye of God. It's an interesting story. The Serrano Indians who once inhabited the Big Bear area tell a tale of their creator, their Indian god. Legend has it, after falling ill, the Indian god, named Crooktat, journeyed to the mountain where he lay dying in a bear cave. He was tended to by a few of his tribesmen. He was taken to a stream at Pan Hot Springs, where he was bathed. Knowing that he was dying, Crooktat instructed the people to cremate him and protect his body from the many coyotes that run in packs and hunt in the area. Coyotes are also known for eating on dead things, and that worried him. He was fearful that the coyotes would consume his corpse. Therefore, he wanted to be cremated. Crooktat died near present-day Baldwin Lake. According to the legend, during the cremation, the eye of Crooktat flew out and became the giant snow quartz we see today, known as the Eye of God in Big Bear. Legend says that the usually large white outcropping is God watching over his people and wanting to make sure that they would do good and be good to one another. I'm sure there are many other details that you could find regarding this story, but I found it very interesting and had to share it with you guys. By this time, it was midday and time for a quick lunch break. We stopped at a deserted cabin. There are quite a few of them that you'll be able to see along the trail. We also walked around and checked out some of the old remains from an old homestead. This old cabin was still in remarkable condition considering its age and the weather and abuse it's been through. The slab floor didn't have a single crack in it. It was amazing. Now be careful whenever entering these structures. You do enter at your own risk. Many of them have been known to collapse, so don't let your children run around unattended. And also there could be animals inside that might not be friendly to intruders. Some people would pay good money for a view like this. I can see why they set up camp here. After you leave the cabin, it's important that you keep your eyes on the road and reduce your speeds. It's in this area that you'll find cattle. Cattlemen in the area free range their steer, and it's important that you're traveling at a speed in case the cattle are crossing the trail where you don't have to make any sudden maneuvers. Now, we were fortunate enough on this trail run that we got to see the cattle, so stay tuned for that. It's coming right up. Now this is probably the only challenging part of the entire trail in my opinion, which is the reason why you would need 4-wheel drive and 33-inch tires. This is definitely not a place to bring the Subaru. You'll end up losing your fairing. Now, everyone made it through with no issues. We did have to radio back to make sure that the Ford was still running and able to complete the obstacle. Just kidding, Cody. Of course, the Ford Ranger did very well. It's an incredibly capable rig, and certainly the way Cody has it built out, Icon vehicle dynamic components, the Nexen tires, and the white knuckle frame sliders certainly help. It's August here in Southern California, and temperatures were in the 90s at this point of the trail, and you can still see that there's a stream running along the wash. Now, exercise caution, because it's in this area you're more likely to encounter the cattle and steer that graze in this area. About a half a mile after the area where we spotted the cattle, the wash opens up, and it may be tempting to do some high-speed runs through here, but there are some posted speed limits, so exercise caution. We want to keep these areas open for everyone. We had a great day on the trail. Meeting up with some of our old friends and meeting new ones is all part of this community. Special thanks to Tim and Monica for sharing your canopy with us during the heat of the day. It was a great time. I do apologize that Crystal ate most of your chimichurri, but she said it was terrific. I also want to thank Joe Kay for putting all this together. It's a responsibility that he took seriously, and everyone had a great time and everyone made it on and off the trail safely. We hope that you've enjoyed this special episode of Trail Adventures. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you on the next trail adventure.